Alright, welcome po sa ating sunod na session para po sa breakout session po na ito, ang breakout session 3 for sustainable suppliers po naman this time. Now, same thing lang po, ipapaalala ko lang po na wag po nating kalimutan ang mag-evaluate using the using the evaluation form with QR code is provided po ulit in your tables. Kung wala pa man po, ay ipoprovide po namin. Pero again, kanina, yung nasa breakout session 1, nakalimutan po nating mag-raffle. Doon po sa mga nag-register, ihahabol na lang po natin. Ihahabol na lang po natin siguro tomorrow. Again guys, tomorrow may mga parapos pa po tayo, which are mga mga mas bongga na tayo tomorrow this time, para po makasiguro kaming babalik po kayo bukas. Maasahan po ba namin kayo bukas to complete the to complete the summit? Ayan. So, yun guys. So, please do not forget to evaluate our breakout session 3 today using the QR code provided in your table, I believe. Meron na po bang breakout session 3 QR codes? Wala pa. Okay. So, mamaya magbibigay tayo ng breakout session 3 na form. And also the Slido later for the trivia. Please also scan it so that you can access the slido.com, and our hashtag for that is FY 2022 Proc Summit BS3. Okay. Okay. And also to the presenters of All right, everyone, may I request to please settle down and we will start at exactly 3:30 p.m. tomorrow. Charot! Hindi, today. So, ayan. So, again,
Good afternoon po everyone. We will be starting na po our breakout session number 3 titled Sustainable Products and Services. So may I please welcome our facilitator moderator. She is the Chief Administrative Officer of the Department of Education and a GPPB recognized trainer, Ms. Maria Teresa S. Fulgar.
A pleasant afternoon to everyone, to all our guests and participants who are physically present in this venue, and of course to our participants also joining us virtually in our several or various platforms. And welcome to this breakout session on sustainable products and services brought to you by none other than the Government Procurement Policy Board Technical Support Office. I am Tere Fulgar from the Department of Education, your facilitator and moderator for this afternoon session. In the interest of time, we will not be having our break. The snacks were already served. And ang ibig sabihin lang po nun, take a break while I work. Yan. Before we get started, allow me to make a few reminders for our Zoom participants. Please change your name using the required format, that is your company name or agency name _ your full name for us to properly identify you and monitor your attendance. So to maintain clarity and to be able to properly manage the time, microphones shall be muted throughout the entire session. Please also be informed that this event is being recorded and is simultaneously being broadcasted live in our official Facebook and YouTube pages. So please be advised also that all questions related to the learning session shall be accommodated by the resource speakers during the open forum. And for questions, kindly use your Zoom chat box and our official Slido account. For our Facebook and YouTube live viewers, you may also participate and send your questions through the comment section. And participants can start dropping their questions in the Zoom chat box, slide to event page, and Facebook or YouTube live comment section while the learning session is ongoing. Finally, to commemorate this event, participants shall be asked for a group photo towards the end of the program. So thank you very much for joining us in today's activity. So now we move on to the program proper of this session. We are so excited to present to all of you our pool of resource persons to showcase current trends and innovations as we bring to you the topic on sustainable products and services. With that, allow me to introduce our first resource speaker. She is an architect by profession for more than 20 years and advocates sustainability in the building industry. At present, she is the technical manager at the Philippine Green Building Council, where she leads the Verde program. So to discuss what Verde is all about, she is a certified Verde professional and assessor, an accredited professional of Advancing Net Zero Philippines, and the PhilJBC Health and Wellbeing for Building Certification Programs. Let us all welcome Architect Rowena Elida.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you to the GBBB TSO for inviting the Philippine Green Building Council to share our insights on sustainability and procurement. Again, I'm Rowena Elida. I'm the technical manager of the Philippine Green Building Council and also the program manager for the Verde program and the Green Procurement Hub of the PhilGBC. So next slide. Sustainability, according to the United Nations, means meeting our current needs without compromising the ability of the future generations and societies to meet their own needs across time and geographies. And with the drastic climatic changes happening right now, assessment of footprints left in the society where a company operates is no longer a nice to have, but a mandatory requirement. Requirements for holistic sustainability are increasing for leading global companies, governments, and nonprofit organizations. Next slide, please. And as mentioned in this morning's discussion, and according to the World Bank, sustainable procurement is a process that integrates environmental governance and social factors of corporate responsibility in procurement processes and decision-making. This is in order to achieve optimal value for money and in delivering development objectives. It aims for the lowest environmental impact possible and most positive social results. Sustainable procurement also helps build circular economy, which aims to reduce adverse social, environmental, and economic impacts of purchased goods and services, and the cost of operations and maintenance over the life of the goods and services. That's why sustainable procurement isn't just about choosing the right suppliers. Next slide, please. So what are the drivers for sustainable procurement? There are both external and internal drivers affecting ESG practices in procurement. And this can be cost reduction, risk reduction, and revenue growth. For cost reduction, by following sustainable procurement practices and decisions, it will lead you to reduction in the total cost of ownership. This reduces energy cost, reduced overspecification, reduced consumption, and reduced social and environmental compliance costs. While for risk reduction, by following sustainable procurement practices and decisions, risks are reduced because you will no longer face financial impacts on your brand value. Rather, you will not have an impact on your brand value due to bad supplier practices, such as child labor, or local pollution. And for revenue growth, by following sustainable processes, your organization would be able to earn additional revenue through innovation on eco-friendly products and services and price premiums for income from recycling programs. Next slide, please. Sustainable procurement is important because we have a key duty to the people and our planet. And according to the Asian Development Bank, traditional procurement has normally focused on cost and efficiency considerations, while sustainable procurement takes a broader view of value for money, considering cost, and they have provided benefits of sustainable procurement, which is classified into 5 categories. This is through financial, risk management, commitment and goals, attractiveness, and response to increasing stakeholder expectations. So by financial, meaning this is by resorting to sustainable procurement, you can reduce your total operating cost, and you will also increase your operating income by procuring more efficient and sustainable goods and services. While for risk management, by incorporating sustainable procurement processes, you will be able to engage in the mapping of economic, legal, and environmental management approaches for risk for your organization. While for commitments and goals, sustainable procurement practices or rather processes and decisions will enable you to reflect on your organizational culture, values, and ethics in accordance with relevant standards and policies. Next slide, please. For attractiveness, performance in terms of social responsibility and sustainability will impact your potential customers, suppliers, and the portrayed image of your organization. If you rank high in social responsibility and sustainability, you will have a competitive advantage over your competitors. And for response to increasing stakeholder expectations, as times are evolving, there is a rising awareness of sustainable development. Stakeholders have started backing companies who follow sustainable procurement practices. Next slide, please. And as the PhilGBC leads the action in greening our built environment in the Philippines, our objective is to ensure that we have sustainable environment where everyone can live, work, and play. Next slide, please. We are focused on developing programs and tools to support green building projects, including capacity buildings and trainings, advocacy programs with national and local government, and the assessment, certification, and rating of green building projects under the, next slide please, comprehensive set of tools for our project proponents to help them in incorporating green building and net zero principles when they design, construct, and operate their projects. We believe we can achieve our goals through holistic approach in sustainability. Next slide, please. And in our Verde rating tool, we recommend project proponents that one of the key components of green buildings is using sustainable materials. And it is a best practice to establish a sustainable procurement program to facilitate the procurement of sustainable materials with positive environmental, social, and economic benefits in all the life cycles of the building project, may it be during the design, construction, and operations of building projects. Next slide, please. Previous slides, please. So for sustainable procurement program, this contains commitments of a project owner in procuring sustainable materials for the design, construction, and operations. And in one of the categories of our Verde rating tool, which is the materials category, we promote procurement of green materials. These are products that have less environmental impact, we also promote locally manufactured materials, which are products that you can procure from local businesses, and sustainable materials from social enterprises and community groups. These are materials from local artisans and community organizations. Next slide, please. And another program of the PhilGBC that supports sustainable procurement is the Green Building Procurement Hub. Next slide, please. The PhilGBC created this online hub with the aim of connecting project proponents with like-minded partners in the industry to support the life cycle of green buildings, whether it be during design, construction, or operations. And this is our way to strengthen the connection of project owners, developers and users to suppliers and manufacturers of green building products and to the professionals and service providers rather, of green building services. Next slide, please. The Green Building PH is a service provided to the industry on the available products, services, and technologies that may be used when pursuing your Verde Green Building projects. And when we established the Green Building PH as your one-stop shop for green building products, services, and green spaces for lease. The hub was developed for project proponents as a decision-making tool in identifying the most appropriate product and services in creating a green building project. Next slide, please. Products listed in our database ranges from structural materials to architectural finishes, and you may search through the database to find out about what are the features and performance of green building products available in the market. And we update this list of products based on the submissions of our members. Next slide, please. The products listed in the hub are green materials that would help you build and manage your green building projects. And the hub also highlights the benefits of using these products. And during registrations of these products, suppliers are required to submit green credentials of their submissions. And these credentials may be green label certifications against a green product standards or a product specification. Next slide, please. You may also search through the list of services in the hub and find out about the expertise available in the green building industry for design, constructing, and operating your green building project. Next slide, please. In the services page, the green building professionals and service providers are listed depending on the life cycle stage their services are applicable. These stages may be pre-design, design, construction, or operation stage. And through the Green Building PH, suppliers and manufacturers of green building products and services and technologies as well as green building professionals will be able to market their products and services through the hub. It will lessen their administrative cost when they are pursuing for Verde certification, and they can just simply say that their product or services is listed in the Green Building PH registry. Next slide, please. So are you planning to lease a space in a green building? The buildings listed in our database ranges from residential, commercial buildings, and you may search through the hub and find out about the features and performance of the Verde Green Building is available for lease in the market. Next slide, please. You may access the hub through any browser or device through the greenbuildingph.org, and you can navigate through the Green Building PH using the navigation panel at the left side of the hub, and a search box is located above the navigation panel that allows you to swiftly search through the whole database using keywords for products, services, or building spaces. You can also search through brand names, product names, or product manufacturers or service providers, or simply keywords that you can relate to your needs. Next slide, please. So are you interested in the listed products, services, and spaces in the Green Building PH? The hub also features companies and their contact informations per listing to help you in inquiring about products, services, and spaces for your procurement needs. Next slide, please. So how can you be part of the hub? The PhilGBC members are provided 10 complimentary listings as part of their membership benefits. For PhilGBC members, you may have your products and services and green building spaces listed in the Green Building PH by submitting the accomplished form for each product, service, or spaces you want to be listed, and supporting documents reflecting the green credentials of your products, service, or green buildings. While for products, supporting documents may include eco-labeling certificates, material data sheets, or product specifications. While for services, quality assessment certificates, training certificates, professional licenses, or even sample completed projects may be submitted. While the copy of green building certificate may be submitted for green building spaces. Submit the accomplished form and other supporting documents to the program secretariat through email at greenbuildingph.org@philgbc.org. Please take note that all submissions will be received and reviewed by the Green Building PH Program Secretariat. And for corporate members of the PhilGBC, we are providing one submission of 10 free entries for publication per year. Next slide, please. For non-members, we are providing 5 complimentary listings as part of the introductory benefits of the hub. Your green products and services or green spaces for lease will be published with minimum details. For non-members who want to have their products, services, and green spaces for lease published online in full details, you may avail of our publishing plan packages, and you may download the same forms and submit them, the accomplished form and requirements to be included in the online hub. Next slide, please. For Green Building PH, we have 4-quarter release publishing, which you may avail for publishing plan packages depending on your listing requirements. We are publishing in a year 4 quarters. It's like a magazine subscription. So once you submit your entries for publication, it will be there published for a year. But if you submit for first quarter, you can renew again and submit your entries the following year for the addition or resubmission of your entries. Next slide, please. So whether you are a user looking for products or services to help you complete your green building projects, or you are a supplier or a manufacturer that would like to connect with our colleagues in the industry, we welcome you to participate in our program and be part of the Green Building Procurement Hub. For more information, please visit greenbuildingph.org, or you may contact the Green Building PH Program Secretariat at greenbuildingph@philgbc.org. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Architect Elaida, for a very informative and comprehensive discussion on sustainable procurement and green buildings. So at this point, let us introduce our next speaker to give us a brief overview of his advocacy on the use of electric vehicles. He is currently the the director of the EVAP, or the Electric Vehicles Association of the Philippines, a full professor in Mechanical Engineering Department, and Dean of Design Rason Junior Logistics Institute of De La Salle University. Let us all welcome Mr. Jose Bienvenido Manuel M. Biona, PhD.
Hi everyone, good afternoon. Sorry if there's some technical glitch. I'm not able to share my vision and my and unmute my mic earlier. Are you hearing me? I hope you're hearing me now. I hope you're hearing. I'm being heard there now. Okay, yeah. So I guess we can start with the presentation. There are some. Yeah. Please share my screen. Please share my presentation. Yeah. Okay. So good afternoon, everyone. So I'm Manny Biona. I'm with the Electric Vehicle Association of the Philippines. I'm also with the La Salle University, and I'm also connected with one of the electric vehicle companies locally. Yeah. So this afternoon, next slide, please. I'll be giving a brief situation of the electric vehicle industry in the country, and also a brief overview on why should the Philippines be looking at electric vehicles. And a very common concern about electric vehicle is its economics or price. So we're gonna take that up also, and then some key points on how to facilitate adoption of electric vehicles in the government sector. Okay, next slide. Yeah, why e-mobility? Yep. Uh, please click the slide. I think there's some problem with the presentation. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So first is we've actually conducted this study for DNR. Okay, we look at what happens if you replace all electric vehicles, or jeepneys with electric jeepneys in Metro Manila. And you have in there the savings that it will be able to provide in terms of a million pesos. So that means that's basically 8.5 billion pesos annually, billion pesos annually. Savings in terms of health. Um, while you will see in there, there are some positive savings at NCR, but it would have some minimal negative savings in other provinces, especially in areas where the power plants are located. Okay, another issue is that we're consuming a lot of petrol. We know that we're importing our petroleum fuels, and a big bulk of that is being used with transport sector. So shifting to electric vehicles cuts down our petroleum imports, and we know if we have a very high petroleum imports, it does not only eats up our dollar reserves, but also put us at a very high risk. Now, a common question also being asked is, are we really saving greenhouse gases if we shift to electric vehicles? Considering that still a big part of our grid is being supplied, grid power is being supplied by coal and other fossil energy. And in fact, it's actually 50%. So still around 50% of our power is sourced from from fossil fuels. We did some simulations, and we will see in there from the graph at the lower left that we're actually saving around 50% to 30% of greenhouse gases, despite having around 50% of our grid being supplied by power. But of course, yeah, you will see in there two colors, the dark green and the light green. The dark green is that's the greenhouse gases that you produce while using the vehicle. The light green, that is the greenhouse gases that you produce when you're producing the fuel that is being consumed by your vehicle or is being consumed by the power plant. So, and the production of petroleum produces more greenhouse gases compared to the preparation of coal or other fossil fuels that are normally used for power plants. But of course, we're not saying that the fossil powered power plants are 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 good, but we're just saying that they're better. They just lead to better to lower greenhouse gases compared to burning petroleum directly in the cars. And lastly, um, electric vehicles have very few parts. In fact, you see there the comparison. Electric vehicles would have only around 18 plus moving parts, while an internal combustion engine vehicles or conventional vehicles would have 2,000 plus parts. Which means then that the technology is very simple, and that allows us now to build our own car brands. You would see now, because of the electric vehicle technology, you would see now local car brands. Uh, I myself, for example, I'm connected with one of the local electric vehicle brands, and yeah, it's a locally established company, and we're selling cars. Yeah, so it holds actually a very big potential also for our local to grow our industry. Okay, next slide, please. So right now, um, so these are the vehicle stocks. Our vehicle stock locally is dominated by motorcycles and bicycles. Um, UVs are mostly the electric jeepneys. There are some electric buses, but very few, almost negligible than some cars, mostly private cars. Okay, next slide, please. Okay. And this year actually has been very exciting for the electric vehicle industry. We just had the Electric Vehicle Industry Development Act enacted into law, and it requires among others, it requires the development of the comprehensive roadmap for the electric vehicle industry, which looks at coming up with a roadmap on the electric vehicles charging stations, manufacturing, research and development, and human resource development. Okay, next slide. Yeah, and it basically defines also the roles of the different agencies. Okay, next slide. And one of the main features of the Electric Vehicles Industry Development Act is that it mandates the adoption of at least 5% of the total of the fleet to be electric vehicles. So and that involves local government units, national government agencies, and GOCCs among others. But of course, it also involves the commercial companies, the public transport operators, and we actually just finished the draft of the CREVI 2 weeks ago, or 3 weeks ago, and it's scheduled for deliberation next month. And as you will see here, it's the minimum 5%. But in the proposed CREVI, it's actually a bit higher than 5%. Yeah. But I don't want to jump the gun on it. It will still be going to be discussed next month and will be approved and announced officially. Okay, next slide. So these are just some of the electric vehicles that are available locally. So yeah, so we have what we call the full electric vehicles. So we have the Nissan Leaf BYD E6. Actually, last week we just had the Philippine Electric Vehicle Summit. If some of you were able to attend it, most of these vehicles were presented there, were exhibited in there. Okay, next slide. And this next set, these are plug-in hybrid vehicles. So, by the way, I'd like to clarify there's a difference between plug-in hybrids and hybrid vehicles. Plug-in hybrids, these are basically electric vehicles that have smaller batteries, allows you only to travel around 60 to 90 kilometers, and it's also fitted with engine. So You charge your batteries, and then you run using your batteries, and then if you run out of batteries, you can shift to internal combustion engines. Now, does it make sense? If you're gonna check how much kilometers you travel every day, I'm sure that's just going to be around 20 to 30 kilometers. So the 60 to 90 kilometer range should allow you to go back and forth from your workplace to your home. So during the week, you're basically running purely on electric, and on weekends, maybe if you go out of town, there's only time that you shift to your internal combustion engine vehicles. Yeah. And there's also the hybrid electric vehicles, which you don't actually charge externally. The electricity is being produced by the engine, which is coupled to a generator and charges your battery. So it's still basically an internal combustion engine. Us in the electric vehicle industry, or EVAP, only considers plug-in hybrids and electric vehicles as electric vehicles. We don't consider hybrid electric vehicles as electric vehicles. As I said, they're not actually being charged externally. Okay, next slide. Okay, so the common question is how much do electric vehicles cost? So you will see here a comparison. So this is most of the electric vehicles right now comes from China. By the way, there's also a lot of questions on the range of electric vehicles. Electric vehicles right now that are being supplied locally could easily have a range of 300 to 400 kilometers. So that should allow you to travel going back and forth to Baguio. So range anxiety actually is not an issue. There are also a lot of questions on, okay, we still don't have charging stations. So what do we do? If you look at the statistics from the US and from Europe, 70%, 80% of the time, electric vehicles are being charged at home overnight. So why? Well, as I've said, we have ranges of 300 to 400 kilometers. So it should be good enough to 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 make you feel secure and actually deliver your required range and plan out your charging, even with the use of your home charging. But of course, there are also now a lot of movements building up the charging stations. Yeah. So comparing the cost, a uh, a Chinese electric vehicle, this is subcompact without their SC, still costs so much a lot compared to a locally made electric vehicle. Because why are we looking at locally made electric vehicles? Because the most common subcompact vehicles, cars that we have are Vios and the Mirage, which are locally made. So if you compare them to these vehicles, they cost a lot, even twice, okay, more than this. And you will see in there also in the second graph, in the second bar, what happens if you remove the tariff, if you accept it from the tariff. So still, it's going to cost more. So even in the near future, electric vehicles will continue to cost more. Okay, however, if you look at the total cost of ownership, okay, even right now, because we're expecting electric vehicles to reduce its initial cost in the future because of the expected cost of reductions in batteries as the battery technology becomes more mature. Um, uh, Even right now, electric vehicles or some electric vehicles are already very competitive compared to internal combustion engines. Okay, next slide. Okay, the next slide shows you the utility vehicles. So these are the vans. Something very similar to the UV vans, UV Express vans. So you see there also the comparison. Expected they would cost more compared to locally available utility vans. Why ASEAN? Because most of our utility vans are imported from Thailand and from Indonesia, and they really don't have tariffs. So in terms of initial cost, they will not be competitive now and also in the near future. But in terms of total cost of ownership, you've got already positive returns. Same also for SUV crossovers. Okay, next slide. Let's now try to look at motorcycles. Um, for for motorcycles, yeah. Now you have a different graph in there. Well, it's because this want to emphasize that At some point, unlike for the earlier vehicle types that I've mentioned, for motorcycles, at some point, sometime in 2030 to 2034, the cost of electric motorcycles are expected now to become lower compared to internal combustion engine motorcycles. And but right now you've got already positive returns in terms of total cost of ownership. You will see there also the comparison of tricycles. Electric tricycles cost a lot, 400,000 compared to a Bajaj RE tricycle, which is only around 180,000. But in looking at the total cost of ownership, it provides positive returns. Okay, next slide. Yeah, so you have there the comparison of buses and GPs. Maybe just to give the body an idea how much an electric bus would cost. Right now, the cheapest electric bus, the tariff paid delivered in Metro Manila is around 9.2 million pesos. Comparing that to a Euro 4 diesel bus, which is around 8.8 million pesos. So there's a very big initial cost difference. Yeah. But there are there are possibilities under the Energy law that an operator could apply for incentives and could receive a tariff exemption, and that could bring down the cost to around 15 million. But in terms of total cost of ownership, right now, battery electric buses, because of its very high initial cost, if it is procured with tariff, costs more than Euro 4 buses. But it will be a different case if if electric buses are exempted from tariff. You see also in there on the right a comparison of the Euro 4 jeepneys and the electric jeepneys. And the non-aircon electric jeepneys are actually competitive already against Euro 4 air-conditioned jeepneys. But of course, you're not comparing apple to apple because one is air-conditioned, the other is air-conditioned. An air-conditioned, locally made electric jeepney is also like as a comparable cost, but you don't have that much um, TCO advantage. But but it's comparable. It should be competitive. Okay, next slide, please. Yeah. So just some key points. Electric vehicles provides long-term economic benefits even now, but upfront costs will generally remain to be higher in the years to come, except for motorcycles. The government expected to save by shifting to electric vehicles in the long term. However, procurement policy may need to be modified to account for the long-term advantages provided by EVs. I think that's very clearly emphasizing that in the presentation that upfront cost is still not competitive. And in some other countries, when government adopts electric vehicles, okay, they look at different models like opening up procurement options for vehicle leasing, battery, or mobility as a service, wherein the government don't have to procure the vehicle really, but or even lease the vehicles, but you have a third party providing the service, the transport services, and it's using electric vehicles. Yeah. So so these are the things I'd like to share this afternoon. Thank you very much, everyone. If you've got, I'm sorry I couldn't stay. I've got another presentation at 4:15. But if you've got any questions, you can touch base with the EVAP through our website and through our Facebook page. So thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for the sharing with us your advocacy and for bringing together other advocates of the electric vehicle industry through AVAP. So if you still have questions on topics presented from our first set of speakers, please drop them at the Zoom chat box. And our viewers on Facebook and YouTube Live may also drop their questions using the comments section. So moving on, let's go. May I present to you our next speaker, a noteworthy contributor in the business world as the Sales and Partnership Officer of the Sustainable Planet Inc. Corporated, Bambuhay. Please welcome Mr. Aryan Lacuna.
afternoon, everyone. Maybe gusto niyo na umuwi dahil medyo late na. So, si Sir Marky, nandiyan ba Sir Marky? I've been given a chance to speak to you, and I will do my best to squeeze my presentation for 10 minutes. So, yeah, before I go further, I would like to take this opportunity to express my gratitude to be chosen as one of the presenter this afternoon out of so many interested parties. So, kami ang napili na isa doon sa iilan. So we are from Bambuhay and our advocacy is saving the planet and saving lives. Let's watch this.
Finding sustainable solutions
To play ba siya?
by building stronger working relationships with our community. By supporting other people, we can then build deeper commitments towards.
All right, so okay, so
progress.
saan mag-play?
Today we'll learn about Bambuhay, a social enterprise that empowers marginalized communities through eco-friendly bamboo products.
All right, that's Bambuhay. That's how we started. Way back 2017, we are producing the very first bamboo toothbrush here in the Philippines. Next, please. Bambuhay is a green tech social enterprise focusing on social circular economy that innovates product that cause no harm to solve plastic pollution, deforestation, and poverty using bamboo and technology. Of course, we believe that with the power of us, together, we can change the world for a better future. Our mission, of course, is to save the planet and saving lives. In order for us to do this year, we launched the hashtag 1 billion mission to eliminate plastic toothbrush by 2030. So we believe with your help, we can achieve this. We can minimize 1 billion plastic toothbrush in the world. And for the Bambuhay, we are being recognized as the very first innovator and manufacturer of plantable toothbrush in the world. We are using our toothbrush, of course, to restore the forest with every brush. So for our product, you can use it and then plant it, and then after that, it will go into a tree, and then it will reforest.
Gumawa ng panibagong produkto na yari pa rin sa kawayan. Ang tinatawag niyang plantable toothbrush.
Ang pinakalayunin namin sa plantable bamboo toothbrush ay para solusyonan ang plastic pollution at mawala na yung mga landfills natin at yung mga basura.
Okay, so sa video na yan, sana mas malakas sana siya, no? Pero anyway, moving forward, so nakita niyo sa presentation, yung product namin, the plantable bamboo toothbrush. Ang original ay ini-embed namin yung seed doon sa handle. So after you use it, after 3 months, as per recommendation na rin ng PDA, you change your toothbrush every 3 months. Are we doing it anyway? Yeah, very good. So the original plan is after you use it, itanim mo siya tutubo. So naka-embed. Pero as per our study, pinag-aaralan namin yung product. Sa ganong klase ng product or technology, yung survival ng seed ay nasa 50% lang. And gusto naming pataasin yon, kaya currently, we are working with the product development, and sooner or later, we are working with the Nanotronics, one of the startup also here in the Philippines. They are producing eco-friendly plastic. So hopefully, sooner or later, ay yung handle ng aming toothbrush, meron siyang hole, and then yung sa hole na yun ay makikita nyo yung seed, na kung saan yung seed na yun ay coated siya ng biodegradable and eco-friendly products. So hopefully, ang target namin, bago matapos ang 2030, ay mailabas namin yung product na yun. And dun sa product din namin, nakikita ninyo, hindi kami gumagamit ng color. We Filipinos, we usually try to identify the owner of our toothbrush by the color. So sa amin ay,
Gagawin namin sa plantable
oh ayan,
bamboo
pinalakas siya.
ay
Thank you.
para solusyonan ang plastic pollution at mawala na yung mga landfills natin at yung mga basura natin ay magkakaroon ng buhay.
Ang bawat toothbrush, tinatamnan ng buto ng nara, akasya, bayabas o kalamansi.
Hindi na rin kinukulayan ng mismong spilyo. Ang pwedeng gamiting palatandaan ang mga larawan ng endangered species na nakaukit dito, gaya ng panda, turtle, deer, dolphin, seabird, at shark.
The bristles and packaging can be used as a fertilizer together with the bamboo handle.
All right, so nakita natin, we are using engraved design of endangered species. Anyway, siya nga pala si Mr. Mark Gersava sa mga nakakilala. Siya yung innovator ng first plantable toothbrush in the world. But unfortunately, hindi siya nakarating ngayon kasi nasa Estonia siya to receive some awards and some speaking engagements. Kaya I'm here. Thank you kasi napupunta siya doon. Kaya kasama niyo ako. So anyway, yung engraved design, two purposes. Number one is to identify the owner instead of using color. Endangered species design. And number two, of course, to promote that we should take good care of this endangered species. That every time that we are using our plantable toothbrush or eco-friendly toothbrush, we are taking good care of them. And then the bamboo toothbrush, of course, it uplifts a farmer's life with every brush. In our organization, we are 34 in the company. Only four of us are professionals. The rest are people who belong to the what we call the marginalized community, the poorest among the poor. They are the indigenous people, solo parents, PWDs, out-of-school youth, even the FRs or what we call former rebels o sila yung mga dating NPAs na nagbabalik sa government. We are helping them. They are our craftsmen sa aming organization. And of course, we are promoting the zero waste plantable toothbrush. Next, please. So we have subscription model as part of our circular subscription business model. Ang meron kaming client ito ngayon, which is the Megawide Construction Corporation. They are subscribing our toothbrush every 3 months, and then after that, we are collecting the used toothbrush, and then they will return that to us with the bin of hope, and then the collected toothbrush will be planted and it will be used for reforestation sa mga denuded area o yung mga kalbo ng puno sa Sierra Madre. And with that also, they partner with us to conduct their community immersion. It's like community outreach. So they are partnering with us also. So it's like no waste at all. We are minimizing the waste. We are reducing the resources dependency, and we are reducing the environmental footprint. And of course, sa mga product namin, hindi may iwasan that there are rejects bamboos. So ang ginagawa namin doon, from harvests, so harvesting of bamboo, and then we will produce our product like bamboo straw, bamboo toothbrush casing, etc. We even have bamboo teas. So ewan ko, nakita niyo sa booth namin, we have bamboo powder, bamboo tea powder, and the bamboo tea concentrate. And after that, yung mga reject na mga bamboos, we are converting it into activated carbon with the help of DOST and DTI. They supplied us with some machineries to powderize those reject bamboos. So ayaw talaga namin ng wastes. And then we have the natural bamboo air purifier. And during carbonization, of course, there's a smoke. There's even a technology that we are capturing the smoke kasi meron yung some sort of liquid. We are calling it the bamboo vinegar. So talagang walang tapon kahit usok, collect namin. And the bamboo vinegar is very nice for cleaning. It's equivalent to yung ginagamit natin panglinis sa mga sink, yung muriatic acid. So it's like an acid. We call it bamboo vinegar, and we're looking forward that it will be released to the market as well in the near future. And aside from that, we have some other products like bamboo certificates. We have bamboo certificate frame, bamboo trophies. Yeah, the natural bamboo air purifier. I'm not sure kung nakita niyo yung aming bamboo Christmas tree. And even the roots, nakita niyo yung roots? Dinidesign din namin siya. And then of course, we have some corporate products na pinoproduce din namin. And some of our major customers are indicated in here, as you can see. And being a part of the promoting the SDG, na yung goals ay, of course, we are restoring the environment and tackling poverty. So yun yung mga achievements namin. And of course, we customize other bamboo products according to your needs. And we have here, we have to understand that we only have one planet. This is a calling to each and every one of us. And it takes one government to take care of it, and it starts with you. So that's Mambuhay. If you wanted to reach us, you can take a picture. And we believe that we are doing a hanap buhay or livelihood, which is from habang buhay and mabuhay bambuhay. Good afternoon.
Thank you, Sir Aryan, for that interesting product presentation combining bamboo and technology to help save the planet and save lives. So the last but not the least is a young and courageous advocate for minimizing harmful single-use plastic wastes. She founded Econest Philippines, a marketing and distribution company specializing in truly eco-friendly and unique packaging products and customized business solutions for enterprises in the Philippines. Without much ado, let us listen to Ms. Nikki.
Hello. Hi. Good afternoon, everyone. Are you excited? I'm the last speaker. We're about to go home. Anyway, so again, good afternoon, guys. My name is Nikki Sevilla. I am the co-founder of Sachi Group Inc. and EcoNest Philippines. So a quick introduction about the company. Sachi Group Inc. is a manufacturer, one of the first manufacturers of bioplastics here in the Philippines. So we're very proud. We just started this year, and it's really good that there are a lot of people already supporting the cassava bags, which I will be sharing with you later on. And EcoNest Philippines, we started in 2018. So we started just as a distribution company. And one of our major vision or goal is to be able to support the local enterprises here. We started out of frustration because we couldn't find truly eco-friendly packaging solutions during that time. And I wanted to make sure that, entrepreneurs here in the Philippines, businesses, even enterprises, big enterprises, they would really understand and know the different types of packaging materials, because there's always an issue with greenwashing. So I want to be very transparent when it comes to introducing certain materials. That's why for us, we do what we can to be able to curate the items that we're carrying, the categories that I will be sharing with you later, in order for us to nurture enterprises to support net zero by 2050. So I understand, 2050, it's such a long time from now, but it doesn't mean that there's no sense of urgency. It's very important that we act today, act now. So next slide, please. So these are the problems we are addressing. So we're very much familiar with pollution, plastic pollution, more specifically. This one, we understand the grave effect on our environment, on our marine life, even on our personal lives as well. So this is something that we continuously address, and there's not one entity who can actually provide a complete solution for it. So when it comes to miseducation, as mentioned earlier, now we have an issue with greenwashing. And when I started looking for eco-friendly packaging items, when I started, I found it hard, because when you read the labels, you will see it's 50% green and then 50% plastic, or there's an additive. So this is something that we have to be particular with. The reason why we make sure all our products, all the items that we carry, we check the certifications, and we do what we can to make sure that these are compostable or really eco-friendly. And then the last one is inaction. Okay, so this is a huge issue. So even if we understand and we see all these possible solutions, it's very difficult to execute. So I'm with you. I've been working with different brands, different individuals as well. there's always an issue when it comes to actually executing the plans. The reason why, of course, later I'll share with you, we came up with the 3 brand pillars in order for us to be able to address this. Next slide, please. Okay, so we're very used to the traditional approach or the linear approach wherein we produce, we distribute, we consume, and along the way, little do consumers know that there are a lot of waste produced. So there's production waste, there's spillage to the environment, and there's littering to the environment, and most often than not, all our waste end up in the landfill. So we know what happens when it ends up in the landfill, right? Produce greenhouse gases, and it's very problematic as of now. And this is what we're trying to address as well. Next slide, please. So here in the Philippines, in terms of our annual plastic consumption, it's around 2.1 million tons. And majority of it either ends up in the landfill or is leaked to the open environment. So imagine there's no circular approach to it, and no matter how much, for now, of course, we are finding solutions, how much we try, there's a very small percentage that is recycled, and it's good that we have this platform, we have these kinds of gatherings wherein we do what we can to find innovative solutions to be able to address this. Next slide, please. So for our brands, Saatchi Group and Econest Philippines, we came up with our 3 brand pillars. So number 1 is prevent. So prevent further contamination to our earth, prevent further damage to our land by introducing a new type of innovative materials or categories that can be a direct switch to plastic materials. Cure by educating the mindsets of people and making sure that it's understandable and it's simplified for everyone. And of course, from our team, we do what we can to already filter it and find out the important details and gather the correct certifications or tests that would be needed. And last one is sustain. So in order for us to be able to sustain our efforts, we need to make sure that we continuously take action and we don't stop just by purchasing or making use of these materials. Next slide, please. Okay, so from here on, I'll be sharing with you the best practices that we have in order for you to understand that the things that we're doing, it's accessible, it's simple, and you can easily do it, not just in your companies, even in your homes. So I always say whenever I have talks or I share information about these things, it has to start with you. So no matter how grand our plans are for our companies, for whatever it is that we're doing, if you don't believe in it, if you don't start it from home, then it's not really going to make such an impact because in some way it will just end somewhere. Okay, so best practices. Number 1, again, prevent. When we say prevent, we introduce these materials. So what do you see here? Have you guys seen cassava bags? Has anybody of you? Kanina. Oh, sige. All right. So I have here with me melted cassava bags. So these cassava bags that we're now locally manufacturing, they can melt in hot water. So at 60 degrees Celsius, you can melt the cassava bag and you can use it to water your plants. Are these real plants? Okay, later on you can use it to water your. I'll pass it around so you can see it and check it out. Joshua, could you kindly? Okay, so these cassava bags, it can be customized to different styles and sizes. You can see here on this slide, these are mailer bags with adhesive. So they can be direct replacement to e-commerce pouches, the plastic wraps that we usually get from Lazada, Shopee. So we can replace them with cassava pouches. And we have tested them already with brands such as Decathlon, Coolie, even Havaianas as well. So one of the best practices that we suggest is that in order for us to enhance its security is we add the AWB thermal sticker on top of the flap for added security. But it's very durable. We have sent it to different provinces as well. Next slide, please. Okay, so another thing, what else can we do with the cassava bags? We can use it as a trash bag. So we have several partners who use it as a beach cleanup bag. So we're all about making sure about raising awareness and encouraging people to understand about these materials. So we use it during beach cleanups, during various activities as well with other brands. And it can be used as a garment or laundry bag also. So again, Decathlon has been using it for quite some time now. So ever since we started, they're one of our first clients. And they have opted not to use the mailer bags with adhesive. So you can actually heat seal it as well. and you can put your branding on it too. Next slide. So another category that we're carrying are called bagas. So they're made from sugarcane, a byproduct of sugarcane. So you can also customize it. It's microwave safe, it's oven safe. A lot of people are asking me if it's reusable. It really depends on your usage. We suggest not because it can be composted, but if you can, definitely, of course, we encourage you to. So yeah, these products, you can customize it. Next slide, please. You can use it as an ice cream container, or you can also customize cups directly. So as you can see here, these cups, normally the paper cups, no, when we see one, we think it's already eco-friendly. But little do we know there's a plastic lining inside. So you have to check, no, there are certain cups that are compostable. So these cups, instead of plastic lining, we make use of PLA or polylactic acid. It's fully compostable. So even the ink that we use, it's food grade. So you have to be particular with the composition of the material that you're going to use, especially when it comes to packaging items, because as you may know, a lot of brands or manufacturers would always say or claim that it's biodegradable. When it's biodegradable, it doesn't necessarily mean that it will disintegrate in a short span of time. So you have to be particular about having a compostability component, because when you say it's compostable, it can disintegrate in a shorter span of time. But there are two types of compostability. It can get complicated, it can get technical. That's why for us, we do what we can to always educate, no, our partners or stakeholders to find out more about these little things. Next slide, please. Okay, so for the cassava bags, you can also use it to wrap biscuits, cookies. We recommend it for dry goods. So instead of using the plastic little pouches for food, it can be used as such as well. And then again, for the customized cups, if you think that MOQ is too high at 2,000 pieces, you can just put a stamp on it. So you can customize it. And then for the upcoming holidays, okay, so for the cassava bags, you can use it to wrap your gifts instead of the usual paper wrapper with different layers and colorful designs that may have other components. We can make use of the cassava bags. Again, these cassava bags, you can melt them and use it to water your plants. Next slide, please. Okay, now we proceed to Cure. So if you remember, our second brand pillar is Cure, wherein we do what we can to educate people. So these are some of the partners that we've worked with. The first one is Wala Usik. So they have been supported by Jizz, and what they did was they gathered different enterprises in their area in Negros Occidental, and they shared with them, how can you lessen your plastic footprint in your businesses? So they guided them. They offered trainings, what are the different eco packaging available in the market. They provided them, or they subsidized these eco packaging. At the same time, they offered them a service of possibly refilling or reusing the containers that they have. So it goes hand in hand. When we say we're switching to eco packaging, it doesn't mean that you have to switch your whole volume of plastic packaging to eco packaging. So you can balance it out with reusables, and then you can complement it with compostable packaging as well. And then second one is L'Oreal. So we have worked with L'Oreal a year ago, and they switched their plastic bubble wraps to Giami honeycomb wraps. So the Giami honeycomb wraps, they are direct alternatives to plastic bubble wraps. And they also made use of cassava mailer bags. So this is such a great opportunity, because what they did was they really made a huge announcement about their switch, and it really added a lot in terms of their brand value. So imagine not only protecting the environment, but at the same time being able to promote your brand and being able to educate your end consumers about the importance of making use of these things and how you can possibly dispose of them properly, even from home. And then the next one is Unilever Food Solutions. So we did a collaboration wherein we provided packaging for their chefs, and then they came up with a really nice recipe. So these are the little things that we can consider, no? So it's not always just about us switching to our materials, but at the same time, going further, educating people as well about its proper disposal. Next slide, please. There may be a lot, but yeah, please bear with me. Okay, so the next one is, again, Decathlon. So they came up with really nice, attractive videos. They posted it online that they switched to cassava bags. It's all about engaging the community as well. So it's really good that we're able to just, provide them a short summary about the features and benefits of these items. And you know what? We can definitely collaborate to come up with something unique for your organizations or brands too. So the cassava bags, they can be used as loot bags also, especially now, no, for the upcoming holidays. Halloween, yeah, in a couple of days, right? So imagine if you can hand out these cassava bags to little kids and tell them, this is something that can be returned back to earth. It's something that's very educational. It's something that's very unique. So it's not only helpful for us moving forward, but it's for their future as well. So another thing would be the orientations and trainings that we can have, we can conduct, no, with various entities or enterprises. Next slide, please. So here, when it comes to sustain, so even if we switch, as I mentioned earlier, no, we have to sustain our efforts. It's good that we're able to work with Barangay San Antonio in Pasig. So what they've been doing is they collect plastic bottles. They have this program called Basura to Ayuda program, and then in return, they will provide the donor with a sack of rice packed in cassava bags. So it's one way for them to let the people know or let the community know. So in exchange for your plastic bottles, we have this new material, and then we have a sack of rice for you. So it's very interesting because they also have a community garden or an urban garden. And what we can do with these bags, you can compost it. Even the bagas, you can compost it. No, you can mix it in your compost bin or your compost pit. The cassava bags is considered as a nitrogen component. And then the bagas, it is your carbon component. So you layer it out. It can get complicated. The reason why it's very helpful that there would be different organizations supporting your switch or your consideration of these materials so we can have a more impactful activity too. Okay, next slide. So again, a year ago or before the pandemic, we had a program called Trash to Nature. So these are called, of course, even if you change the material, no, it's still considered solid waste. But at the same time, if you consider the composition of the material and understand that these can be returned back to nature, it's very helpful. So we had this program called Trash to Nature. We encourage our partners to get bokashi bins, and then you compost your food waste along with the cassava bags and the bagas containers, and then you bring it to a composting site. So we partnered with Don Bosco Tondo, and our client sent the bokashi bins there. And okay, so I'll just share more about that, or let's wait a bit. Okay, while waiting. So anyway, going back. So the Trash to Nature event, it's something that can be implemented in various areas as well. One of the major challenges we have right now is the retrieval consideration for these items, especially when it comes to composting. Now, we may have limited areas in our homes or in our condominiums. That's why it's helpful if we have like an urban garden or a community garden where people can send their compost. And again, all these products, they can be turned to fertilizer and can be used for the plants, for vegetables. There's so many ways, and we can really design waste out of the system once we're able to pursue these projects. Okay, so to wrap up, I'd like to let you know that we're very happy that we get to introduce these new innovative materials that we currently have here in the Philippines. We're very happy that we are able to locally manufacture the cassava bags here. If you'd like to know more about it, you can visit our booth outside. You can check out our website, www.econestph.com or www.sachi.group. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you, ma'am, for that another interesting product presentation. And at this point, we'd like to, we'll be having our open forum. But before that, let me throw the first trivia question. Do you have your QR codes ready? Apologies for the glitches. Pinapauwi na yata tayo. So, the question, pwede na ba? The question no, for the trivia game, what agency is the latest member of the JPPB? Okay. What agency is the latest member of the JPPB? So the first correct answer na mafi-filter po in our chat box, Facebook, and YouTube live comment section, or sorry, sa Slido pala, no? Sa slido.com, will be the winner. So I would like to remind again our participants that questions which are initially gathered from our Q&A facility, chat box, and Facebook and YouTube live comment sections are filtered, as our resource speakers shall only be answering questions related to their respective topics in the plenary. So again, may we call on our resource speakers, Architect Alaida, will Sir Jose be joining us? Is he still with us through the Zoom platform? Sir Aryan and Miss Nikki for the questions. So for the first question, this is addressed to Ma'am Nikki of Econest. Right now, what is the maximum possible production of cassava bags can the company create and its estimated percentage to single-use plastics? Were you able to present to the Congress regarding these efforts compared to single-use plastics?
Hello, thank you for your question. So right now we're in the very early stages. We have one production line currently, and of course we are planning for expansion as well, but we're in the introductory stages. And as much as we'd like to be able to increase our production line, is not yet as viable, given that we are still researching about the acceptance of the market. But it's good, the volume is growing. We're doing our very best and we're presenting it to various stakeholders in order for us to be able to support production moving forward. As compared to percentage versus the consumption of plastic is way below 1%. As you may know, no, plastic consumption is 2.1 million tons. And right now we're running at a lower number. So it would be good if we can collaborate, if we have various projects or initiatives. Yeah, definitely we can work together. You can buy for as low as 100 pieces. We're trying to make it as accessible as we can to different, of course, individuals, entities, organizations. There's always a concern with pricing, but I want everyone to understand that this is not the time that we only solely focus on pricing. We have to understand the impact of these materials moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Ma'am Nikki. And I think the second question is addressed to Architect Alaida. They say that going green or buying green is quite costly. In terms of cost, may we have an idea how this compared to a regular building, more or less?
Actually, it's not that much costly anymore since there are other products being used as green now here in the Philippines, not like before, maybe 10 years ago, that there are shortage of incoming green products here available in the Philippines. But now we have certain suppliers that are available here in the Philippines. So it lessens the cost as well as the return of investment. If you invest in using green in your green building projects, the long-term investment is that you save on energy cost, you save on your water usage, and you can have that environmental impact for your project as well.
Thank you, ma'am, for that answer. And I think this is the last question. Is there a stable supply of raw materials to ensure a steady supply of sustainable services and products? Well, I assume this is for Ma'am Nikki or Sir Aaron for the bamboo and the cassava.
Yeah, thank you for that. For the Bambuhay, yes, we have enough resources in Nueva Ecija. That is the very first reason why the Bambuhay has been established in Caranglan, Nueva Ecija, which is in Sierra Madre. That place is very rich. There are still bountiful types of bamboo that we are using in our production. So currently, yes, there are a lot of resources for that.
Honestly, it really depends. We have a lot of resources available, but it's about us being able to optimize the overall production process. So it's not as easy as replacing fully the current consumption of plastics, as everybody would understand and know it's such a high volume. And in order for us to be able to switch each and every business to this kind of material, it's not easy, it's not fast, and it entails a lot of effort from, of course, not just the manufacturers, but even the business owners as well, even the government. So it's truly a collaboration of various stakeholders in order for us to be able to actually pursue what we're all aiming for, which is a circular economy. It's not easy, but as long as there are committed leaders in this field in various areas, then we're by all means willing to be able to work with you moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That's it. I think that concludes our open forum. But if you have more questions, you may still ask them, even if after this webinar by visiting slido.com. All you have to do is just type the event code hashtag 2022 Proc Summit BS3, to which the GPP BTSO will answer through an issuance or through FAQ. So at this point, we would like to thank our resource speakers, Architect Elaida, Ma'am Nikki, and Sir Aryan for leading a very informative and comprehensive discussion on sessions for today and for graciously accepting our invitation to be part of this online training. So as our session ends, please let us have a group photo